Call these questions renovation types of questions. Steps for renovations, and remember, I'm getting you ready for grade 12 as well. So these steps are going to continue with us when it comes to renovation. In general, I want you to always be mindful of these steps, okay? So in general, we want to determine the amount of either surface area or volume required, okay? And if you notice that some conversions are needed, make those conversions, okay? So if I give you the dimensions of this room in yards and feet, it's a problem, right? You can't have yards and feet for the area of this room, so convert them both to either yards or feet, okay? Calculate how many boxes, like if you buy tiles, like I don't know if you've looked at our floors, right? These are tiles, like thin tiles. They probably come in a box of 20 or whatever. So let's figure out how many boxes we're gonna need to floor this room. How many cans are we gonna have to buy of paint? How many loads do you need to order of something if you're ordering soil or concrete or something? And the important part here is, if you're buying something from the store, in general, you need to round to a whole number. So I will also say this. Sometimes I say no partial quantities. Okay, that's the same thing. If I tell you in a question, no partial quantities are allowed, you can't purchase part of a can. You can't go into a store, rip open the box, and just take a few tiles and walk away. You can't do that, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Then at the end, calculate the total cost before and after taxes. If you want after taxes, the shortcut is multiplying your answer by 1.12. Okay? So, example, if you buy something for $5, at the store, and obviously you have to pay taxes on most of the things in Manitoba, we just multiply that by 1.12, and then you know how much you're actually going to have to pay. And I just made this one up, so I'm just going to actually, right? So 5 times 1.12, so you're going to have to hand over $5.60 after tax, right? That means that taxes have been applied. So a 1.12 is the shortcut, because this is 100%. And you're adding 12% taxes, that's why it ends up being 112%. So if you turn 112% to a decimal, you get 1.12. Okay? I will go add this. Can you please make sure you're aware of this? Services only charge GST, and GST in Canada is 5%. Okay, so if you buy services is something like if you get a plumber to come out and fix your drain, like it's not, you can't flush or something isn't working, the plumber will only charge you 5% on the labor on that service. Okay. So let's say you pay $40, good luck, $40, they won't even come out, but let's just say, in that case, we would only want to multiply it by 1.05, because 100% plus 5% is 105%, right? Turning 105% into a decimal would be 1.05. So that would be $42. So just remember, and maybe I will add this, some of you might not be familiar with our taxes. In Canada, I would say in Manitoba specifically, there's something called RST/PST. That's the provincial sales tax. Like that's just for Manitoba. It's 7%. And GST is the federal government. Anybody in Canada has to pay this one. That's 5%. So combined, 7 and 5 in Manitoba, most things are taxed at a 12% rate. So that's where I get the 1.12 from, okay? For formulas, we're gonna see page 10. We're gonna go to page 10 in a bit, don't go there yet. I'm gonna get you thinking about this first, about these 3 steps we just covered. And a lot of raw products are taxed $0 in Manitoba. Did you know that meat, raw meat, like if you go to the store buy meat, it's 0% taxes. Okay, milk, 0% taxes. Produce like veggies and fruits, 0% taxes. So when Superstore has like save the tax event, right? Everybody flocks to Superstore because they're going to save a whole lot. You're not saving a whole lot. Look at your bill. The only time you pay a lot is if you buy processed foods. Anything that's in a box, you're going to pay 12% taxes on. Okay, so that's an aside. You don't need to know that for this unit, but for life. Okay, let's do one simple example here. Let's say that 1 can of paint covers 180 square feet. That's important. That kind of goes together, right? And that can cost you $29.99. The question now is asking, calculate the cost of painting a room that has a surface area of 500 square feet. For proper coverage, 2 coats are required. That is important. I want you to highlight that. You're going to paint the room twice. And another, no partial cans can be purchased. Even if I don't say that, you can safely assume that, okay? So the first step is total surface area. Total surface area to be painted. Partially, this work has already been done for you. It's 500 square feet. But how many times are you painting that room? 2 times. So you gotta, it's almost like if you do the math to come up with the square feet of the room, you then have to multiply it by the 2 coats. Right? I use the same color as my coats. So it's as if you're painting 1,000 square feet. This is important, but it's not our final answer. Number 2, how many cans are you going to need? You're going to take the total surface area, which is in square feet, and divide it by how much 1 can covers, which is also in square feet. Very important, right? You can technically cancel them out. So let's divide that. 1,000 divided by 180. It's 5.5 something. It repeats, right? 5.555. Repeating. We can't have that many cans. We can't do it. As soon as you have a decimal, right? As soon as you have anything following the 5, you got to round up, correct? It would just make sense that you need to buy that 6th can. So that's approximately, you do the 2 waves like this, 6 cans. Don't go equal because that's not correct. You just say that this is approximately 6 cans.
Can we continue with 4 taking places?
Here?
Yeah.
You can give me as many decimals here, but for this step, I want you to at some point round it to a whole number. Don't continue with partial, because then you're saying you can buy 5.5 cans, but you can't, right? So this scenario, I do want you to round, okay? Number 3, the total cost. 6 cans We multiply that by 29.99. And you get 179.94. This is before tax. So if the question just said before tax, you're done there. If you want including tax, you got to go 179.94 times 1.12. You're not going to have to guess. I will tell you if it's 5% only, I will tell you that. If I don't tell you anything, we're assuming it's 12%. Okay? So you grab your number, you just multiply that by 1.12, and there it is, 201.53. That is most likely the number you would want to know. Okay? It's almost home time. One second. I will ask you to just work on the pages that I've already assigned and that you didn't get to. Okay? If that's the case, so no additional homework. I will say this, update study sheet. And we will continue with renovations tomorrow, okay?